the country that Christopher Columbus's dumbass couldn't find. And we're talking about India because in a year of global protests, they're in the midst of the biggest one anywhere.
Thousands of farmers blocked highways across India today in protest of the country's new agricultural laws. The blockades are only the latest development in the face-off between agricultural workers and the government.
This is one of the busiest highways leading to Delhi. It's been blocked for weeks. Tens of thousands of farmers from the northern states of India have marched to the capital city.
Last November, they organized a national strike involving 250 million people. That's more than all the adults in America.
And their struggle isn't going unnoticed. R&B megastar Rihanna asked her 100 million Twitter followers, "Why aren't we talking about this?" Climate activist Greta Thunberg tweeted a message of solidarity,
sparking a furious response from the Indian government. It's also drawn the ire of New Delhi police, who in only the last few hours have now filed a police case citing Thunberg's tweet.
Rihanna and Greta Thunberg effigies were burnt recently by pro-government crowds after they tweeted in favor of the farmers.
Damn. When a country that hot starts burning shit, you know they aren't messing around. I mean, they're burning Greta Thunberg in effigy, which is really going to piss her off. I mean, think of all the carbon emissions. By the way, there was definitely at least one guy in that crowd who already had a life-size Rihanna pillow. He was at the protest like, haha, no guys, it's an effigy, let's burn it. I definitely didn't marry this pillow. So, why exactly are India's farmers protesting? Well, let's step back and find out in another installment of If You Don't Know, Now You Know. When you think about farming, what do you think about? You probably think about how it works in the United States. Giant agribusiness companies running giant farms where they raise cows that are so jacked on steroids they look like when you milk them, protein shakes come out of their teats. But most Indian farmers work on a much smaller scale. And it's when the government tried to change that up that the manure hit the fan.
This is all happening because Prime Minister Modi's government has passed new farming laws that will change how the agricultural industry has worked for decades.
India's agriculture sector makes up nearly 15% of the country's $2.9 trillion economy and employs around half of its 1.3 billion people.
The vast majority of India's farmers own fewer than 3 acres. For decades, they've sold their produce in their home states, government-sanctioned markets called mandis, a system that guaranteed minimum prices on several key commodities.
In September last year, the government passed 3 farm laws that loosen rules on how crops are produced, stored, and sold. The laws allow private players a greater role, and that sparked farmers' fears that they will lose decades-old concessions and be left to fend for themselves at the mercy of the free market.
The measures, they say, will only benefit big corporations and push them into poverty.
These laws will have an effect on anyone who eats. They will buy from us at very low prices, and we lose our livelihoods.
Man, that sounds like a really rough situation for those farmers. And if this last year has taught us anything, it's that we cannot take farmers for granted. Nowhere in the world. We need farmers. I mean, we all saw what happened when we tried to grow our own vegetables on our kitchen windowsills. After 9 months, what did we grow? Nothing, other than resentment and hatred for our roommates. And this law is going to have widespread repercussions because farming employs 600 million people in India. That's almost twice the entire population of the United States, which, apart from everything else, is just another reminder that the Twitter trends are pretty bullshit. I mean, you'd think the entire world is talking about the Joker in the Snyder Cut, when in reality, if everyone was on Twitter, the top trending topics every day would just be wheat. So, with their livelihoods at stake, India's farmers decided to make their opposition known by blocking the roads into the capital as a form of civil disobedience. You know, it's like that Mahatma Gandhi quote I saw on the internet. Sitting in traffic sucks major ass. And that's how things stayed for a while, until a couple weeks ago when they escalated it big time.
The largely peaceful campaign briefly turned violent last week when protesters drove a procession of tractors into the heart of the capital, New Delhi. Some farmers confronted police who fired back with tear gas.
The government has arrested more than 120 people and charged farm union leaders with rioting and sedition.
Now, the government's responding by using massive concrete barriers to box in the 3 main sit-in sites along New Delhi's highways. It's also cut off electricity, water, and the internet.
Delhi police have deployed 50,000 police and paramilitary personnel in and around the capital. There are extra drones flying over protest sites. They have erected thousands of iron nails on some of the roads leading up to some of the sites.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has broke his silence, describing violence in the capital, New Delhi, last Tuesday as an insult to the country. Modi says he'll not change his mind on the new laws, but has repeated an offer to delay them for 18 months.
Hot damn, that tractor was moving. It's like someone made a Grand Theft Auto mission in Animal Crossing. But look, clearly the government has decided that they've had enough of this protest because this is a major crackdown. And maybe they think postponing the law will satisfy the farmer, but think about it. In 18 months, people will be in the same position that they are in now, and the protests will happen all over again. I mean, you're basically just giving people 18 months to get angrier and soup up their tractors even more. But you see, this crackdown shows you how worried the government must be about this protest. And honestly, they probably should be, because it's clear that these farmers are digging in for the long haul.
Farmers say they are undeterred by the government's crackdown and will continue their protests until the agriculture laws are repealed.
Tents have lined the highway where farmers spend cold winter nights. Water tankers are brought in by tractors for bathing, cooking and cleaning. Medical booths have been set up to tend to the sick. Dozens of people, young and old, are busy cooking in community kitchens and serving meals.
There's a makeshift mall, a roadside market selling jackets and coats.
Youngsters intermittently break the routine with song and dance atop tractors.
We've made this our home, whether it takes 4 years or more. We're here to stay.
Now you see there, that's some determination right there. That dude is ready to protest for 4 years, which doesn't surprise me, because nobody on earth is more patient than a farmer. Farmers are the same people who will wait 5 months to grow an eggplant. An eggplant! I'm not even patient enough to find it in the emojis. Sometimes I'll just send like a cucumber or something. And you know, if you ask me, it was especially smart of those farmers to build a mall inside their camp. Because think about it now, if the government sends in police officers, those cops automatically become mall cops and lose all authority. Checkmate. So the next time you see Indian farmers trending, you'll have a little idea of what it all means. The government is trying to force the farmers back to their fields, but the farmers aren't giving up their demands. And nobody knows how this thing is going to end up. But I don't know, if I may quote one of their prominent supporters, this protest might just work. And if you don't know, now you know.